just a few weeks ago. So I'm just gonna let you go. I'll call you.
All right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Todos. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Are we Latino?
Bien.
All right. My name is Carlos Parks, and thank y'all for having me today.
Thank you for coming.
I'll give you a little background about myself. I'm originally born in Goldsboro, North Carolina, raised in Lynchburg, Virginia. I live in Greensboro now. Greensboro from Durham, about the 9 years. I'm a peer support specialist at present, certified peer support specialist. So what that is basically work in the community with mental health and substance abuse disorder patients, and we help them to get their life back on track. So the reason I'm here today, I want to talk about direction, and starting with my own direction, my life. So I started early on. I was a good kid, like y'all said. I was focused, helping the community. I grew up in, like I said, I grew up in projects, apartments, housing, whatever you want to call it. 43. So I grew up in an area different than yourselves. I grew up in the 70s, 80s. I grew up in the crack era, and crack hit the community. We all know what crack does, but we don't. Like I experienced crack tearing my community. So, long story short, I started selling drugs at the age of 14. Yeah. I got all focused. I was young, dumb, and peer pressure. Like I said, I grew up in the crack era. So everybody was trying to sell drugs when I was young. And for a while, I wasn't a part of that. I was like, man, y'all dumb, y'all going to jail. I was leaving. So I didn't do what all my friends were doing at first. But somehow I got off track, and I started selling 14. So luckily I didn't get any juvenile offenses. I wasn't incarcerated during my juvenile lifetime. As soon as I turned 18, I got indicted for selling to undercover and went to jail. So, like a lot of these
How long were you in jail?
the first time I was in jail, I got boot camp. I did 7 months in jail. I did a 90-day boot camp program for first offenders, which is like you going into a room, basically, and that's your punishment for your crime.
I don't think they do that.
They don't. They may not do that here. This was in Virginia.
Cause I don't think they do that.
They have programs for first-time offenders, but I got lucky. But I didn't learn my lesson. So I came home after the 90-day boot camp, and I came home cut up. They get you in shape. I was right, but I still had the same drug dealer mentality, so I started back before I went in. So the next time I got in trouble, I was 24 years old. By this time, I'm skipping. I had a son. My son was born when I was 21. I got incarcerated for a brief stint at the age of 21. I don't even remember that. It's something like violation. I violated.
Violation?
Yeah, I violated probation. I was on probation. I violated, I went back in, came back home, and I started doing what I was doing. So I was selling the radio school. That's all I knew. So by this time, I got kicked out of school for selling drugs. At the age of 18, I had my own apartment. I had 2 apartments. I had an apartment and the fishes because my mother would kick me out, which I knew was going to happen. I was selling drugs. I got stabbed. My senior year, I got stabbed when I was 6 years old. My father. I know I'm jumping around a lot. It's sad. Throughout these trials and tribulations, I didn't learn anything. So by the time I was 24, I got indicted by the feds, and I got 30 years. Yeah, I got 30 years when I was 24. So this was an hour. This was what made me focus. Like 30 years, I'm gonna get out when I'm 50-something years old. The reason I'm before you now is because I continue to fight. I have what you call a conspiracy. Conspiracy, they don't need drugs. All they need is people telling the federal agents that you sold the drugs. So I had people in Hickory, Lenore, Morganton, that area, North Carolina, who was saying I sold them drugs. So they told the federal agents because they got it. We bought drugs from Carlos. I bought a key from him, and this person said we bought a key from him, and this person said we bought a key from him. So at the end of the day, they had all these keys. is drugs. Everybody hit back? Okay. So anyway, long story short, in the federal system, if you go to trial, you're going to pay. They want you to plea out, and I didn't plea out. So because I didn't plea out, I got a 30 year sentence. And I started with 3 people telling on me. My trial date was 15. Yeah. So that's, I want y'all to understand how it works. Like, and a lot of those are my friends. Like,
Oh, yeah, they try to fry
yeah,
you.
your friends, your good friends. Friends that you didn't think would tell on you are gonna tell you.
That's crazy.
Why so? Because they get a time for telling. That's what they call it. It's called a time cut. So my friend who told on me was looking at 15, 20 years. By telling on me, his time got cut in half.
Oh yeah, they do that.
That's what they do. So then he tell on somebody else, that time gets cut. So, you know, that's how the system is set up, man. Unfortunately, I didn't know. I was naive. I mean, I wouldn't have told anybody. I wouldn't, you know, they tried to get me to another. So what I got was 30 years. But I continued to fight. During my incarceration, I fought and I fought. And remember, this is about direction. It's about choosing your direction. And I chose this direction. And when you choose something, there's what they call a reaction. But every action is an equal and opposite reaction. So my action was to sell drugs, which round up to a 30-year sentence. So I didn't do 30 years. My out date was 2026. In 2010, I won my appeal, which I was fighting my case. I was fighting the 30-year sentence. And for 10 years, I carried that 30-year sentence. But in 2010, I won my appeal, and they reduced my sentence from 30 years to 20 years, which is still a lot. But I'm already 10 years in there. So you do 85% of your time. Long story short, I did 17 years of federal prison. So when I went in, my son was 3. When I came home, he was 20. So, you know, that's where I'm at now. Fortunately, I got focused while I was in prison. I treated it like college. I studied, I learned, I got certifications while I was in it. And I vowed not to come home with the same mentality. I changed my whole way of thinking. I was extremely health conscious. Man, everything positive I could think of to do, I did. So when they came into my prison, I was in Texas for 8 years. Didn't see my family. You know, I was in Beaumont, Texas. 8 years I did out there. Didn't get a visit, but they came with a program. Matter of fact, I went to Louisiana, which is right next to it. I went to Hollis, Louisiana. They came with what you call the Toastmasters program. That's an international speaking organization. And I joined because they said Toastmasters. I went to the first meeting, and they said, well, we'll tell you what, in Toastmasters, we have a 1% recidivism rate. Anybody know what a recidivism rate is? That means you do? You got an ID guess?
Like people that stay there? Like
Close. And come back. That's what it is.
Oh.
That's called recidivism. The rate at which people leave prison and come back. So if you were in the Toastmasters program, you had a 1% chance of coming back. They had a 1% recidivism rate. And we could not get people to join Toastmasters. So it like me thinking like, if this is gonna help me increase my chances of staying free, I'm with it. So I joined Toastmasters. I became an international speaker. By joining, it was $20. It was $20, that's all. So I became a speaker. It's not only good for public speaking, it's good for communication skills. It teaches you to better communicate. Verbally and non-verbally. You know, 60 to 70% of your communication is non-verbal. So how a person looks at you, how like him, with his head on his desk, he's communicating to me that he's not interested. You know what I'm saying? Like when you come into a situation with your arms crossed, you communicate to me that you're not interested. You're not open to what I have to say. When a person,
You see my hands crossed.
you paying attention. But that's all nonverbal communication. That's one of the things I learned in Toastmasters, and that's one of the things that I teach now. I started when I came home. I started a nonprofit. I work with kids your age, 13 up. So that's one of the things I teach. But anyway, it's about direction. I wanna, any of y'all ever play checkers? Anybody play checkers? So you know how to play checkers?
David, so.
How do you play checkers? What's the,
You want to check the check. You want to
Check.
check it.
and the goal is to do what with
To
your
get a king.
Exactly. So you start out and your goal is to do what?
Get a king.
Okay. All right, and we played checkers, but we played checkers on a chessboard. You know, so in chess is different. Who played chess? Who's David? David, you play them all. Okay. In chess, what is your objective?
Take the key.
So you playing what on that board? A game, right?
Yeah.
So your goal is to win the game.
Yeah.
And to win the game, you gotta do what? You gotta take the king. So the difference between chess and checkers,
One you're trying to get the king, the other one you're trying to take out the king.
so that means when you start the game, you're already a king. When you start the game with your king. That's chess. In checkers, you have to get a king. But I'm gonna tell you how in life, we go into life and we're playing checkers and not chess. Which one is hard? It requires,
They both require
chess
strategy.
is definitely hard. It requires,
They both require strategy.
but in checkers, you are reacting to your opponent's moves. So it's just a quick, you know. In chess, you have to strategize.
Yeah, you got these 3 steps ahead
You
of
got, exactly. You gotta think, okay, if I make this move, what is he going to do? That's the difference between chess and checkers. Checkers is quick, rapid. I started out, I was a checker king. That's what they called me, the checker king. When I went in the field, I was the checker king. Until an old head told me, young man, you need to learn to play chess. I never played chess. I'm not interested in chess. I'm good at this. You need to learn chess. So I picked up chess and I learned to strategize. And then I realized that, you know, everything in life is equivalent or equal to what you're doing in the game. See, a lot of us, like myself, when I was young, I started out playing checkers. I played checkers. And I became the king. What happens with the king is when you become a king, you get to do more.
You get to go back.
You can go back, it's called flying king. You can fly. You can fly. So I was a king. In life, I thought that my dream was to become a king. So get a king thing? No pun intended. Anyway, that was my goal. I wanted to be a kingpin. You know, I wanted to be, and I achieved my goal. What happens in checkers when another person get a king? Now your king is threatening. You can lose your king.
Yep.
You can lose your king. You might have a king, but you lose your king. And in life, kings are taken all the time. So when a king is taken off the board, what happens?
You gotta start all over.
No, you make another
I
king.
mean, that's what I meant, like you gotta start over.
Yeah, you make another king. So it's the same in life. So I don't know anything about you guys, your personal life, I've seen you. You don't realize that I work across the street. I work in a tower. So I've been on the 10th floor looking down. You know, I've seen the kids over here at this school. I've seen one of y'all walking 2 days ago. He had on some white ones, I think. He took his ones off and put on his slides and left in his slides because he didn't want his ones to get creased up. I don't remember who it was, but he left in his slide. Was it you with the hoodie on?
Yeah.
And what was it you? It was somebody had the slides on and was carrying his shoes. And I was explaining to my client, look, he carrying his shoes because he don't want his shoes to get dirty or creased in the front, so he wearing his slides on and carrying his shoes. It might not have been ones, they look like ones as well, but we watch. We watch y'all, you know, I mean, you know, people always got their eye on you, regardless if you know it or not. I know about the fight that happened the other day. Yeah, I know about that.
Oh, he's so.
The fight, some guy came up here to fight one-on-one and thought he was gonna get a one-on-one and he got jumped. The whole school jumped. I know about that. You know, I'm street savvy. You know, I'm extremely street savvy. I'm from the streets. So look, one thing about an adult trying to tell you something is because they look at you and they see your direction. Remember I was talking about direction in this direction. So a lot of times we get directed. I was directed. I didn't have anybody point me in the right direction. So you have adults who who have been 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. We been where y'all been. We been you. I've been you. I was one of y'all. But now I'm me, and I'm looking back, and I see myself. So what am I doing now? I'm trying to redirect. Like, hold up. What you doing? You're going to end up where I ended up. One thing about selling drugs, you're going to end up in prison or in the
ground. Yeah.
Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You're going to end up in prison or in the dirt. Now, I got stabbed when I was 16, almost died. I got shot when I was 21, paralyzed from the waist down. You know, I had a baby on the way. Like, yeah, these are just, I mean, unfortunately, these are real parts of being in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to school. I went to school until my senior year. Until my senior year, every day I came to school, I got searched. Every day. Cars was coming up. Police at the door waiting on me. They go pat me down, make sure I don't have drugs on me. Because, like I said, I live by myself. I didn't have to ask anybody. They said, no home, who was it going to? I live by myself. So I was a bad kid early. You know, I wasn't a bad kid, I had bad ways. I had bad ways early, but I didn't have anybody directing me because I moved out of my mother's house. I didn't have that direction. So this is what this school is about, directing you guys. You might have you started facing the wrong way. So they try to direct you. You know, they want to get you back on track because ultimately you still playing chess. They want you to play chess. And when you play chess, you plan ahead, you strategize. I'll tell you, my stepson, I didn't mention I'm married. Since I came home, I'm married. I have a baby on the way due any day, a little girl. I have a 22-year-old son. He has 4 kids because I wasn't there. You know, so what happened with him? Nobody was correct. You know what I'm saying? So he got off course and he just was reckless. And he got into the little gang activity and all that. I wasn't there. I was in Texas for 8 years. I didn't see my son. So, you know, nobody was there. So his mother started going a little gangbanger. Next thing you know, he's influenced by this. So he goes in that direction. Again, that's what we're talking about. But
Y'all pull it up.
me and my son, oh yeah, I got him in. Like it took a minute because I had to come. You can't come home and be daddy. You ain't been here for 17 years. So I had to come home and I had to establish that trust. I had to let him know who was there for him. You know, and he has my name. He's Little Carlos. So in my city, everybody knows me. So he felt like he had to try to beat me. You know, and I had to come home and try. Look, you're not gonna beat me. You're gonna be better than me. So I had to come home and I had to get my son and bring him in. So now that's done. Kids are done. We have no kids. I got enough grandkids. You know? So, you know, and I ain't done having babies. I want to see that ass. But anyway, I got my son under control. I came home and I stayed the course. See, I set my direction when I came home. Before I came home, I had my direction. Everything I'm doing now, I'm planning, including this. You know, this is something I plan to do. But like I say, you gotta stop playing chess. It's fun. It's fun. I had fun. But chess is long. Chess is good. That's how you want to plan your life. You want to play chess when you play your life. It's like football. The goal is to score a touchdown. But if you play football, what do you got to do in order to score the touchdown?
Strategize.
You got to strategize. You got to get first down. You got to go into the huddle and you got to come up with a plan. How we gonna get by the defense? You know, and then you ain't going for a bomb every time. That's ignorant. That's stupid. You go when you see it's open, but you trying to get a first down. So each first down is like a progression in life. Each first down takes you to the next first down. You feel what I'm saying? It's just like football. Life is like football. And you got a coach. You got somebody over there they see things you don't see. That's your family member. That's your teachers. Those are your coaches. Those are the people who tell you what you should do, how you should focus. Look, this side is open. We're gonna try this side of the field. You feel what I'm saying? So you gotta start strategizing early. And back to what I was saying about my stepson. I admire my stepson. He's 15 years old. And he's known he's wanted to be a doctor since he was probably 3. So what has he done his whole life? Every step he's taken has been a chess move. He's strategically planning to be a doctor. So what are the requirements? First thing you gotta do is you gotta know what is expected of you. If you wanna, everybody, I don't know if you got a sense of direction yet. If you know what you wanna be, if you know for a fact this is what you wanna be. So if you know what you wanna be, you gotta find out what I need to get to that. You know what I'm saying? about direction. So my stepson, he's in middle college at UNCG. UNCG, he's in middle college. He's been in middle college since the 9th grade. So he's never been to high school. He goes to UNCG for high school. But when he graduated, he had 2 years college credit. So that'll cut 2 years off that long period of time you gotta go to college and become a doctor. So he'll have 2 years in the books already. What does he have to do? He gotta keep his grades up. He gotta take certain required courses. You feel what I'm saying? So he's playing chess early. And that's what they want you guys to do, play chess. Now I don't know, where I'm at in Greensboro, gangs are bad. Gangs are heavy. You know, so yeah, gangs are heavy. Down move or you low, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe you GD, you may be vice lord, I don't know. But I know that you might be in prison. We got the Mexican Mafia, we got the Los Buenos. I don't know if y'all know what that is. That's the TS. Yeah, I knew every game. You know, I learned Spanish in prison for my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to make sure nobody plotting on me. So they speaking too like, oh, I learned a little French, even though they aren't any French gangs in there. But
It's Nazis. Yeah, it's Nazis in there.
I mean, you know, yeah, they do have the yeah, they got all that. Anyway, you know, I would never. Prison is bad. Prison is bad. Don't let. I was fortunate, you know, but you know, I seen people get stabbed up, killed, opened up, you know, and then the knives are something we make, you know, out of I know what we call it. No, that's jail. They make shanks out of metal. Yeah, they find a piece of metal. They might work a piece of metal out of the fence, and you walk around the track, you just see people on the side sharpening shanks on the concrete. Yeah, oh yeah, it's gruesome. Like, and if you get, I don't even want to talk about that.
Go ahead, talk about that.
We ain't gonna talk about that, but don't think there's anything sweet about prison. And I did 17 years in there. And I was in the hole for, you know, I did some things. I went to the hole for a while, and when you're in the hole, you lock down 23 hours. You come out an hour to shower, and maybe get a phone call if you're lucky. I think you get a phone call once a month. So yeah, it's not something you want to do. I assure you, it's not something you want to do. Oh my God, listen, yeah, you're right. You have mental issues in the hole. And you got people who sleep all day. So all night they're yelling, they don't want you to sleep. You know, it's bad. The hole is bad. The hole is terrible. It's very bad.
I got a little cousin who's going 10 years, he's 17.
He's 17, they charge him as an adult?
Yeah.
Murder?
Nah.
Okay. I want to educate y'all on anything dealing with crime. Say, as he said, his cousin doing 10 for armed robbery. Sometimes in armed robbery, people are shot. They might not want to get the money up. They might go for a crime, and they end up shooting. Now, say for instance, you ain't the one shot him. You didn't shoot him, but your friend shot him. It's the same charge he getting. That's murder. The same charge he getting. It's not accessory. You're gonna get charged with the same thing. All y'all gonna get charged with murder. Everybody who go in there for that robbery gonna get charged with murder. And another thing you may not know is if he get killed, you go with your homeboy and he go rob somebody, and then the guy he robbed and pull out a gun and shoot him and kill him. You get charged with your friend murder. You get charged with your friend murder because you went with him to go commit a crime. So you get charged with the murder. He don't get charged, the one who shot him. He might get charged with the gun if he don't have a license to carry, but you won't get charged with your friend's murder. That's something you may not know. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. They don't care. Well, I didn't know, Your Honor. I don't care. They say ignorance of the law is not an excuse. But I want to get back to the game. Games is something that we didn't have games. We had sets when I was growing up. My neighborhood? Yeah, my hood. You know, I'm from Fifth Street, so my street was Fifth, not here in Virginia. Yeah, in Virginia. I'm from Fifth Street. But I ran Fifth Street. And I had a whole team of little youngers on me. So we were like a game, but we weren't labeled as a game. So we weren't Hoovers. You know, we weren't representing Hoover Street from California or whatever the blood, you know, them streets over in other cities. Yeah. You know, that's my street. But you know, nowadays gangs have come up, and I'm not an authority on gangs. I don't know much about gangs. I know about the gang members I was locked up with, but I'm not reporting. So at this time, if y'all will, I'm gonna bring my coworker up, Al Thomas. And he gonna tell y'all about gangs. I can't tell you about gangs. I'm gonna let Al tell y'all about gangs.
Okay, got it.
All right, I'm gonna ask you for the sake of time that we kind of like refrain from the questions until I tell you the story. I'm gonna paint a picture for you, right? And I ask you, I'm a psych major, but I know it's impossible. The question that I'm asking is for you to not focus on irrelevant questions as what type of gun did I carry, what type of gang was I in, what type of guns did I get shot with, right? So I ask you to refrain from those questions and let me kind of like give you the meat and potatoes of everything, right?
All right.
My name is Al Thomas. I mean, you got some questions. We'll do a Q&A after this, right? I'm Al Thomas. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an author. I have a non-for-profit. It's called Apple Tree Transitions. And that's what I walk you through on this chalkboard right here. Apple Tree Transitions. I also have an entity that's set up under that umbrella. How many know about umbrella companies? Anybody?
Umbrellas companies, period.
It's a set of companies that you put up under an umbrella. You know, a city corp, city group, all of those are called like entities right there. And I suggest that we lean towards being an entrepreneur where we won't work for someone else. That's the whole point of being in school, learning the academic process and the credentials. And I'll show you how everything ties in together. You even need credentials to be a gangbanger. So I'm gonna show you how to make transferable skills through this. Now all those things, before I was all those things, I was you. I started off, period, where we all started. Our roots is like a sponge. This is where all the information takes place. This is where we derive from. This is where a lot of our social issues come from. These is the problems right here under roots. Under those roots is either like some say a generational curse, something that was passed, shown or told, either type of way. Whatever this was right here, it fed your mind. It fed and manipulated your brains until to become something. For me, my roots started from St. Louis. I'm originally born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Right now they're rioting as we speaking right now. And I spoke at a couple forums and panels up there on the Mike Brown case and the Ferguson riots. But like many of those impoverished communities, we started out in some type of fear. If fear takes place, whether we admit it or not, we're gonna do whatever we can to survive. That's just human nature. So in that survival, my mother was a single parent. She used to tell me to go, back then, you didn't have to be 18,